And we understand the referees body PGMOL has accepted the VAR controversies involving yesterday were incorrect decisions. They will cooperate with the Premier League following their request to review the incidents and will use it to help the development of their match officials. We told you earlier the Premier League had asked them to review the two incidents that led to goals being ruled out by VAR.
Where you blow the whistle and then you change your mind. VAR, you don't have to get involved, VAR. That's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with VAR whatsoever. No, I've never seen an incident like that. I think Lee Mason's made a huge mistake and he should, you know what, I'd respect him more if he came out after maybe and said, yeah, I made a mistake, I apologise, because you can clearly hear he blew the whistle, and once you blow the whistle, that means I can take the free kick. Sometimes if you, as a player, if you want to ask the referee if you can take a quick free kick.
Which Lewis apparently did.
He did. Well. Sometimes he can say, the ref will go, yeah, you can take a quick free kick, and he blows the whistle. So if Lewis Dunk asks him, can he take a quick free kick, and he blows the whistle, then the goal should have stand. The only reason is because the West obviously surround him and go mad and say no, the goal shouldn't stand. And also maybe the only reason is because Sam Johnson was on the other side lining up his wall, and then Lee Mason thinks I've made a huge mistake. But I've never seen that in football. It's to do with VAR whatsoever. It's to do with the referee Lee Mason, who's come out and made a huge mistake. But I respect him more. Like when players make mistakes, everyone wants players to come out and speak about it, that they've made the mistake. I respect Lee Mason more that he's made a mistake, that he comes out and says, I've made a mistake. But he hasn't. He's got people there defending him, saying this, saying that. And listen, everyone does make mistakes in life. I don't want Lee Mason like we...
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at the first example, you said it was a factual one, so the referee doesn't really need to go and have a look at it. But when you hear the VAR describe the second incident in terms of it's hit the thigh, his arm's not outside of his body, if you like. So why was the referee sent on that occasion?
Yeah, it's a good question, because there is still some judgment to be made by the official in this case, because we think it probably brushes the arm. We don't know for sure. But he might think, OK, he's leaned into it. I'm still going to stick with my penalty decision. I think he was right to overturn it. He could keep it if he wants. That's why you hear the officials, the VAR, still checking the APP, the attacking possession phase. Just in case the referee keeps the call at the screen, we've got to check if there's an offside too. And I know people get frustrated sometimes about the time it takes with the checks, but that's why they're going through the full due diligence to make sure that, you know, he goes to the screen, he says, I'm going to keep my penalty, but we've not checked if there's an offside as well. So that's why we're going through that process. They're really skilled at going through the process. It's not just like watching TV at home. They're having to work through a process to ensure they don't miss anything.
Another thing I wanted to ask you as well, because we hear this sometimes when we're commentating ourselves and that, I think if you're a supporter, you think, oh, the referee's going to have a look at a decision. But as you can hear there with the audio, he's actually getting fed the information about why he should change his decision before he's actually got to the screen. So is that influencing him before he's actually looked at it again?
We want the referee to make the final decision at the screen. They're provided with the video evidence that the VAR has looked at and formed the opinion that something's clearly wrong. But the final call is the referee's, apart from those situations that are factual. So the one we saw with Kai Havertz, where the ball just has to strike the arm, inside or outside the field of play, or inside or outside the penalty area, those sort of situations are deemed factual. So we just take the word of the VAR. But the referee makes the final call. But the VAR will say, this is why I'm sending you, have a look at this aspect. But you make the final call.
Controversy took center stage at Old Trafford after a dramatic penalty appeal involving Manchester United was waved away, leaving players and supporters in disbelief. In a match balanced on fine margins, a challenge inside the box appeared to show clear contact, yet the referee signaled for play to continue. Within seconds, frustration turned into fury both on the pitch and in the stands. Replays only intensified the outrage. Slow-motion angles seemed to capture what many described as a textbook foul under the laws of the game. Contact initiated, attacking player impeded, advantage denied. United players surrounded the official, appealing passionately, while the crowd's reaction shifted from anticipation to anger. It was the kind of moment that freezes time, where everyone expects a whistle that never comes. The focus quickly turned to VAR. In an era where technology exists to eliminate clear and obvious errors, questions immediately surfaced about why there was no intervention. Was the contact deemed minimal? Was it judged not clear and obvious enough? Or was it simply a failure in communication between the on-field referee and the video officials? For fans, the lack of transparency only deepened the frustration. Moments like this can alter the entire trajectory of a game. A penalty decision changes momentum, tactics, and psychology in an instant. Instead of stepping up from the spot with a chance to seize control, United were forced to regroup, their energy partially drained by the perceived injustice. In high-stakes matches, such decisions often linger long after the final whistle. The debate around officiating consistency has resurfaced once again. Supporters argue that similar challenges elsewhere have resulted in spot kicks, raising uncomfortable questions about uniformity in big calls. Managers and pundits will undoubtedly dissect the footage frame by frame, each offering interpretations shaped by loyalty and perspective. For Manchester United, the bigger concern is impact. Dropped points influenced by contentious decisions can define league positions, European qualification hopes, or even title races. While referees are human and mistakes are inevitable, the existence of VAR was supposed to minimize exactly these flashpoints. Was it a costly mistake that denied United a decisive opportunity, or simply another chapter in the long history of controversial refereeing decisions in major fixtures? The answer may depend on allegiance. What is certain, however, is that the debate is far from settled. At Old Trafford, the echoes of that missed whistle are likely to resonate for some time.